Hi guys, Mrs. Alberts here and welcome back to my channel. Let's begin. Right, let's look at the practice questions for HAAR. Nommer 1 verwys na die titel. 1.1 Die woord uitvaart beteken letterlik begrafnis of lijkdiens. Waarom pas die woord uitvaart beter as die woord begrafnis? So they're telling you to look at your title and then they explain that the word uitvaart literally means a funeral or a wake. Why does the word uitvaart suit better than the word funeral? Uitvaart actually refers to a departure. It is a better way to think that this little girl is going to a better place. She is going to depart from this life to the next. It's euphemism, which is in any way the next question. 1.2, benoem die beeldspraak wat in die titel voorkom. What is the figures of speech that is in the title? It's euphemism. And so they use the word departure to say it better. It's very harsh already to hear the news that a 2-year-old has died. So they're trying to make it softer, having the idea that she has flown away with the angels, that the birds have come to fetch her. So that's why uitvaart is euphemism, and the euphemism is better to use than funeral. 1.3 verduidelik die doel van hierdie beeldspraak in die titel. So you have to explain the use of this figures of speech in the title. They use it in the title so that the reader is prepared that this is going to be about a funeral. This is going to be about a departure from one life to the next. It's a very difficult poem, and therefore the name of the poem gets you ready for experiencing something that is going to be traumatic or difficult to deal with. 1.4 Watter woord in die titel gee aanduiding van die geslag van die oorledene? So which word in the title gives you an indication of the sex of the deceased, and it's the word haar. That tells you it's a little girl. 1.5 Wat is die doel van die assonansie in die titel? So when you look at the AA assonance in haar uitvaart, it gives you a very sad in Afrikaans, we say always that you know, these types of things, this langdradig. It has a long sound. It emphasizes how this is a sad, I almost want to say it is a difficult situation to deal with. It gives you a sad tone, traumatic tone. Yeah, I can't say anything more about that. Nommer 2, die ellips of die beletselteken kom baie in die gedig voor, verduidelik die doel van die ellips of die beletselteken in versdeel 1. So they say that the ellipse is being used quite often in this poem. You have to look at line 1 though. What is the function of the ellipse in line 1? It emphasizes a pause. It's a respose. The person is taking a pause before the speaker continues. 2.2 Waarom maak die spreker hier gebruik van die ellips of beletselteken? Why does he use the ellipse here? It is very difficult for the speaker to speak about what happened to his little girl. So everywhere in the poem you'll find these pauses. It is for, you know, to take a breath, to take a moment to find the right words, or a moment to deal with the emotions that come forward. It is a difficult topic to discuss, and it's a difficult event to relive. Nommer 3, die spreker gebruik die verkleining van die woord voeltjies in versdeel 2, verduidelik die effektiwiteit daarvan. So they use the diminutive of voeltjies in line 2. Why is this effective? Because it emphasizes how small she was. She was very small, she probably couldn't speak yet, so the small birds came to fetch her. Nommer 4, bespreek die inversie wat in reël 3 gebruik word. So when you look at line 3, half toegevoude feisies klein. You normally would say klein feisies half toegevou. The inversie shuffles that word order around. So what is the function of it? It places the word klein at the end of the sentence, emphasizing how small she was. Nommer 5, verduidelik die betekenis van die woord eilings in versdeel 4. So you have to look at line 4, which says, het eilings na die doodsgordijn. Eilings, it is when you start to hallucinate. She is becoming delirious because of fever. So she sees things that aren't there and she is grabbing blindly at them. Nommer 6, waarna verwys die doodsgordyn in versdeel 4? What does the doodsgordyn refer to? Death's curtain in line 4. It is this invisible, I want to say, divide between this life and the next, being alive and death. There's an invisible curtain. It's very thin. To go from one place to the next is so quick. And therefore, when they say she's grabbing at it, it gives you the idea that she is coming closer to the other side of this curtain. Nommer 7, verduidelik die gebruik van die enjambement in versdeel 4 en 5. So you have to explain the use of the enjambment in line 4 to 5. So line 4 is still, it's in your second stanza. It's het eilings na die doodsgordyn, and then it runs over to 5, gegryp, en dan weer moeg verslap. So why that enjambment? It quickens the pace of the poem, and enjambment always quickens the tempo. And it takes you from the one stanza to the next, trying to quickly get past this idea of death's curtain, because it is a very difficult thing to talk about. So the quicker you get over this topic, the better. It also shows the desperation in that moment, how things happened quickly in that moment. Verwys na strofe 3. Wat is die doel van die ellipse in versdeel 5? So now you go to 3, and at the end of line 5, there is ellipse again. Why, or what is the function of that ellipse? Again, needs to take a pause. It is difficult to continue. It also puts the emphasis on the pain he is experiencing, reliving these events. 8.2, haal 2 aparte woorde uit versdeel 6 aan, wat sê dat sy erg koors gehad het, so 2 separate words. That tells you that she had a terrible fever. It's the word sweat, which is sweat, and afgetap means that it dripped off her face. Now, normally when we have a fever, it's a slight clamminess. If you have sweat dripping off of you, it means that you have really gotten a high fever. 8.3, waarop word klem gelê deur die gebruik van die verkleiningsvorm van slapies. So what does it emphasize to use the diminutive of the word slapies? Now this slapies is not to sleep. It is the sides of your head. The temples, in Afrikaans we call them slaap or slape. And to use the diminutive slapies refers to the fact that she was small, she was still young, and it emphasizes that. 8.4, wat was die oorsaak van haar hoë koors? What was the cause of her high fever? It's the disease called diphtheria, and that is in Afrikaans wit seerkeel. 9. Sê in jou eie woorde hoe ons kan bewys uit strofe 4 dat die dogtertjie nie kon praat nie. So you have to find something in line in stanza 4 that to show that this girl couldn't speak. Now whether it's couldn't because of her age or couldn't because she was so sick, it doesn't really matter. You just need to look at the fact that she could not speak. And it is the quote, haar oogies het om hulp gesmeek. When your eyes are pleading for help, it emphasizes that you are not using words, you are not saying anything. Her eyes asked for help. She could probably not speak because of the sore throat. This is a very, very ugly disease, but she could also have not been able to speak, maybe because she was tired, exhausted of what was happening. And then a last thing that I didn't put up here, diphtheria has the effect where it closes your throat, so maybe she couldn't breathe at this point already, and if you can't breathe, you can't speak. Her age does play a role as well. She was 2, so there's quite a lot of reasons why she couldn't speak. Nommer 10, wat sien die spreker in strofe 4 in sy kind se oë? What does he see in stanza 4 in his child's eyes? He sees her pain. 11, daar word weer 'n ruspause in versdeel 9 geneem. Wat word hier die ruspause genoem? Now, this question, I didn't put it in here, but I did put it in the notes. So in line 9, obviously this pause, you'll know it because it's the 3 dots. It is an ellipse, it is a beletselteken, whichever word you prefer. But also, just in case, maybe write the word the ellipse of 6 uur. It's S-E-S-U-U-R. It is a specific form of an ellipse where it's in the middle of the sentence and it has to do with the pause when things get too difficult to speak about. Okay, nommer 11.2. Wat is die doel van die ruspause in die sin? what is the function of this pause in the sentence? Well, first it is to show that it is a difficult topic. It's a difficult thing to speak about. He has to pause to recollect himself, but also it emphasizes the words before and the words after the emphasis, after the ellipse, sorry. 11.3, gee een woord uit reël 10 wat sê dat die pa niks kon doen nie. So one word from line 10 that says that the father had couldn't do anything. It's the word magteloos. It means he had no power. He was powerless to do anything. 12, die spreker is magteloos teen sy wil. The speaker is powerless against his will, and his with a capital letter. 12.1, dink jy die spreker het besef dat hy niks kon doen om die dood van sy dogtertjie te keer nie? Do you think the speaker realized that there was nothing he could do for his daughter? The answer is yes here, even though it is a do you think, because it's a fact that there was nothing he could do at this point. And then motivate your answer. Now here you can motivate a little bit more into your own motivation, but here's a few examples. He realized that she was already busy dying and that from his side there was nothing he could do. He was powerless against God's will because at this point it was already decided that she was going to die. 13, waarheen was hy met sy dogtertjie op pad? So where was he on his way to with his daughter? He was on his way to the hospital. 14, haal een woord aan wat bewys dat hulle nooit hulle bestemming bereik het nie. So you have to quote one word to show that they never reached their destination, and that's the word halfweg, which means halfway. 15, verduidelik die funksie van die twee kommas in versdeel 12. So when you look at versdeel 12, it says het, comma, asemloos, comma, die dood ons ingehaal. The two commas emphasizes the word asemloos. Death is breathless. Just think about it, it makes sense, because literally when you die, you don't have breath. But it's also the diphtheria that caused her not to be able to breathe. She was suffocating at this point and suffocated to death. In number 17, it says, lewer kommentaar oor die rympatroon in die eerste en laaste versdeel. So you have to comment on the rhyme pattern of the first and last line. However, this is not really, it's that maal in line 1, gemaal, and then in line 2, ingehaal. Now, the whole poem has pair rhyme. We know this. It's everywhere. Gemaal, haal, klein gordijn, verslap, afgetap. But they're not looking specifically at line 1 and 12 having the same sound being rhymed here. Ingehaal en gemaal. It binds the whole poem to a unit. It's from the start to the finish. It comes full circle. 17, dui die progressie in die gedig aan. In line 1 and 2, so you have to show the progression in the poem. In line 1 and 2, it says immediately that the birds came to fetch her, which means that he knew in line 1 and 2 already that she was going to die. In line 3 and 9, or 3 to 9, he explains or describes her last hours. He saw how she was suffering and how he was powerless against God's will. And then finally, line 11 and 12 is her actual death. So the progression is from knowing that she was going to die to the process of dying to death itself. 18, waarom verander die voornaamwoord van my en ek na ons in die slotvers? This is a very important question. Why does the pronouns change from my to me to us in the final stanza or the final line? In stanza 1, he's talking about me because he maybe felt that he wanted to protect her from death. He felt that at this point he could still do something. He was on his way to the hospital. He was trying to help. 7 to 9, the ek, because he is confronted with his own powerlessness and he realizes that there is nothing that he could do. He cannot escape the death. And then line 12, the us, because even though he tried everything he could, death caught up to both of them. To him, because now he has to deal with her death, and to her, because she is actually being caught up with death. So it caught up to both of them. He could do nothing, and she could not fight it either. Number 19, wat is die thema van die gedig? What is the theme of this poem? It is the death of a child and the influence that it has on a parent. And I apologize for this last piece, but this poem always gets me. Good luck with this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you've got any questions, you can follow me on Instagram at Afrikaans Classroom. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos, like and share.